Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to show you how I made these really simple, really quick miniature condoms in 1/12 scale. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so the material which I'm using to create these wrappers is this foam metal adhesive backed metallic sheet. I've had this for quite a while now. I got them from the range a couple of years ago and they come in three colours. It has a yellowish gold, a coppery colour and this teal colour. None of them were ideal for my purposes today, so I decided to colour them myself. I've gone for the more traditional sort of colours for condom wrappers, so more the navy blues, the blacks and the reds. Once I gave that a short while to dry, I'm using my 12 scale dollhouse ruler and I made some markings at 2.5 inches and cut those down into strips. Condoms are actually 2.25 inch squared, but for in a dollhouse that would make it really small, so I thought I'd give myself just a little bit more material to work with. Once I had my strips prepared, I then made markings again at the 2.5 inch mark. I then used a biro to score into the lines which I just made, just so that I had a visual so that I could be accurate or more accurate in where I was placing the contents of these wrappers. Okay, so a really quick little side note, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider going and hitting that subscribe button because it really does help my channel grow. Okay, back to it. Now, I spent quite a while trying to figure out how I was going to make these wrappers look like they actually had a condom in it. I did think about sculpting it out of clay and then making a mold and so on, but I thought that would be a little bit time consuming, so I wanted to go down an easier route. I decided in the end to use this very thin wire. On a digital caliper, it measures at 0.4 millimeter. I then wound it around a toothpick many times over, and then I cut off the little tiny jump rings using some flush cutters. The inner diameter of these jump rings is 2 millimeter and the outer diameter is 3 millimeter. Now, as these were cut, some of the edges did stick up a little bit, so I used the back of my tweezers just so that I can flatten it. As we're going to cover them with foil, you don't want any sharp bits because it would just rip straight through it. Then all that I needed to do was peel back my paper, and then because I made those score marks previously, like I say, it gave me that visual so that I could see where I needed to put them for the spacing. They're not perfect. These are super tiny and so fiddly, but it definitely made it a lot easier having them there than if I hadn't have done that. Now, a pretty common characteristic of a condom is that they have a silver back. And so to achieve that, I'm using some regular kitchen tin foil. You have to stick this with the dull side down, shiny side up, and then I could just flip it around, put a little bit more pressure on it because the metal foil with the color is slightly stronger than the tin foil. Now, if you are going to make these for yourself, don't cut them how you see me cut them. I did this wrong. What I should have done was cut it lengthwise first. Then I could have then cut off the individual condoms. Instead, I made a very long-winded job for myself because I had to then cut off both sides of them to make my square little item. So definitely, if you do make this, then don't do what I do. Now this version of it is really nice, it's really cute. The tinfoil gives a really nice impression on the other side, but the way that I'm going to show you now is actually my preferred way of doing it. Obviously, I just made these on the fly, so as I'd not made them before, I didn't realize that this way was going to be better. Should I ever make these again in the future, I will definitely not use the pre-colored adhesive foil, and instead I'm just going to use this standard kitchen foil. So to make this version, I used a red alcohol marker and I coloured it on the shiny side of some tin foil. I then cut that down to size just so that I knew where I was going to put my double-sided tape. Then I was able to cut along the guide of the double-sided tape. Now these ones are going to be slightly different sized as I'm just going with the width of that tape, but you know, the amongst themselves in the bowl, you're never going to see that. This version as well, I didn't make any score marks. I was just really seeing how it would turn out this way. And so then I just placed on my jump rings. Again, not perfectly measured out, but it worked out fine in the end. and then it was just a case of sticking some scrap foil down, foil side down. Now, as I say, I definitely prefer this way because the tin foil is so much thinner than that faux metal sheeting which I used in the beginning. You really get to see all of the details, so it really looks like the, well, one, like a miniature condom, but like there is something in there from both sides which you just don't get from that previous material. Now, as this is a shop and those condoms are for sale, I'm going to need to make some signage. Now, I didn't want just any old sticker or label hanging around, so I decided to make a picture frame. To do that, I went on to Cricut Design Space and I put together this little saying. I made a few different variations of the sizes because I didn't know how big I wanted it, how small I wanted it. I quite liked having this white with the pink writing inside, but I decided to go with the black and gold for, more of the brand feel. For the frames, I used some 1.5 mm matte board and I stuck that down onto the back of some cardboard. To create the look of the glass for the picture, earlier on in the process, I covered it with some clear sellotape. I then popped it into place and using a silicone tool, just pushed in all of the corners to make sure that nothing peels away in the future. This picture frame is actually going to be stood on the countertop, so I needed to create one of those stands that sit at the back of a photo frame. I just quickly drew out the shape of it. I cut it out, I coloured it in with a black alcohol marker, and then I glued it into place using tacky glue. Nothing fancy, just nice and simple. The front of the frame, however, would need to be something fancy. Just having that black cardboard, it was a little bit boring. So I went through my stash and I pulled out the Spectrum Noir glitter pen. I did once upon a time have it in a gold colour, which would have been perfect for this, but with it being silver, I don't mind it at all. It's just a nice, subtle, sort of glimmering shimmer when the light hits it, so I don't mind it being silver at all. Now we've actually come to the end of the video, so like I say, it was just a quick video, and I just want to say thank you for watching today. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a like, leave me a comment, and I shall see you soon. Bye.